That's my epiphany.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the very thing I hate about you makes me stay.
All right.
How was your week? What have you guys been up to?
I got out a couple times.
You got out.
I did a couple times.
You saw
You
the sun.
escaped.
Yeah, I had to walk almost every day. I walk 4 miles.
I went to 2 Dodger games at the Dodger playoff games.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you very much, and I enjoyed those. And I did. I taught class, and I did a podcast, and I did. I didn't do a podcast this week. No, I did. I was writing meetings. I'm out a lot. I do a lot of things, and so I'm a terrible person for this podcast because I never like to cancel plans. I want to go to the thing.
He's always out.
I'm the guy who wants to do the thing.
You don't ever cancel, it sounds like.
I don't.
I wanted to cancel coming here.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I hear that, Brown.
I mean,
Most times
I don't
do
like
too.
to go out. I mean, I'm a hermit. I mean, you know what? That's not true. I'm very social.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go out, and it's hard to make plans, and it's hard to know ahead of time what I'm going to be doing if I want to do that.
Do you feel a lot of pressure to like turn it on when you're like, I'm going to go out and I have to apply my personality?
No, because I'm always perfect. No,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
but it's just getting out of the house. I don't know. Ever since COVID, it's really my life has changed. My life got smaller, and I kind of like it. But if we get invited to something, he's always, let's go. I'm like, I don't know. Like, how do you know?
What are you running
Yeah.
from?
Myself. And by the way, I've not been successful in escaping myself.
You're an extrovert.
But when I
extroverted
walk into a
introvert.
party, I'm scared that people will hate me, and I have a lot of social anxiety.
Interesting.
And I feel weird about it, and I don't feel good, and I don't go to certain things like funerals. I don't like going to.
You do go to
You walk into a funeral and you go,
I've
everyone
missed
here
so
wishes
many.
that I was in that casket right now.
That's a weird thing to have anxiety about at a funeral.
I do.
No one cares about you at a funeral.
No one cares about me anywhere
That's
I go.
not true.
But that's fine. That's fine. It's like that's one of those things where, I don't know. There's something about
Yeah.
the many things of a funeral, the saying goodbye, death itself,
Yeah.
mortality. Also, there's a little bit of bullshit that accompanies a funeral that I'm uncomfortable with, where
Yeah.
you have to say only the good stuff.
Oh, you
about
like it.
that person.
Oh, I love it because
Yeah.
death makes freaks out of everybody.
Right.
Like everyone forgets how to behave. It's kind of similar to like weddings. I
Right.
feel like it's 2 ends of like a very extreme spectrum that like, I don't know. I feel like people will show up and then just forget, especially like, like the receiving line at like
Right.
a funeral or,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something. Sometimes people will just, they'll be so focused on not wanting to say or do the wrong thing that they'll be so zoomed in on themselves that once they get to the top of the line, they forget that the person standing there has probably been standing there for like 3 hours,
Right.
and they'll say something insane,
Yeah.
or they'll like grab them or do something, and I think that's so funny.
Really,
My
fantastic.
grandma died on Mother's Day, and that was so hard. But I remember her funeral was also so joyful because my grandma was hilarious. She was
Yes.
a hilarious woman, and people just stood up for hours telling the funniest stories about her. And like we were roaring in laughter, and it was like so sad, but it was also really beautiful.
My rule at these things is I'm gonna tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's my truth about that person, and some people don't want it.
Have you
why
ever
he-
stood
that's
up
why
and been
he's
like,
never asked to
this
speak.
man was a bastard?
No, but I would frame it like everybody's talking about this person like they're an angel. That's not true.
Is there a holiday that you'd want to die on?
Ugh.
Oh,
Like if someone's like, oh, like so, like this is coming. I feel like if you pass close
Columbus
to your holiday, you get claim to it. Or they're just like, well, now this is gonna be my. Like if I were to die on Valentine's Day, no one would forget.
Oh,
Really?
that's
Valentine's
interesting.
Day.
That's
I
a
don't
good
feel
one.
that at all.
Really?
I feel that
you
as
really
soon
You
as
disappear into the
you
holiday.
disappear. You
Yeah.
disappear. Nobody cares about it.
Hey.
Yeah.
The next Valentine's Day isn't the first thought isn't remember who died on Valentine's Day? It's like, do I have reservations at this restaurant?
Unless it was a themed death.
I'd rather
Yeah.
die and have that day be named after me, like
Oh yeah.
the Brown Day.
the
like,
Brown Day.
What would the brown day look like?
oh,
It doesn't have to be a dying thing.
So
we can.
sad.
We
Yeah.
can look,
Do we have to?
go
Well, actually,
on.
I'll
Do we have to
tell you
call
exactly
it
what
the
it would
Brown Day? Because I think that's probably better.
the brown sugar. I honestly actually have tried to make a national holiday. You know, you can do that.
You can?
There's 2 ways. You can do it actually like through like the government, or you can actually pay something.
It's like naming
But
a
I want
star
to have a
after
National
you.
Boggle Day because I'm really into playing
Yes.
Boggle. And so I've looked into it. and I would actually was thinking about making it on my birthday.
Oh.
National Boggle Day.
Do you organize like boggle nights or game nights a
No,
lot?
I play all the time.
Is
but
this a solitary experience as well?
No. Well, I do play it by myself sometimes. Don't tell anyone. But no, I have during COVID. I've been playing Boggle for years, for decades. I love it. Usually with the same people, and
You often play on Zoom now.
I play on Zoom during COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, I play a lot of games too on my phone.
Back to Boggle.
Yeah,
How do you feel about organized fun?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I mean,
You like it in theory.
I like it it's always.
We talk about game nights.
You know what?
I'm going to
We've
explain
had
what a game night at the
We've had
Kogans
game-
is.
We've had
Okay.
game night.
Game nights at the Kogans is, we're going to have a game night. And then people come over and no games come out.
That's not.
And
you
then
talk
when I
and talk
start
and talk.
suggesting who wants to play games, and
That's not
people are going like,
Yeah.
and then eventually
I
we
get
may
that.
play one game and then it's over. Like, I want a game night. I want
Yeah.
okay, we're starting with charades and then we're moving on to celebrity.
That's what you
then we're-
like to do.
Yes.
But that's not fun.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
Because you actually want to talk and catch up with your friends. Is that what's
Yes,
happening?
Yes.
I
he
don't
wants to
mind
socialize.
a dedicated game night.
You want to connect with people. I don't want to connect with anybody. I want to go play games.
You want to be competitive and have that fun.
Not even competitive. I just want to play games.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose. It's fine.
I have to ask the question because my parents are similar to this. You both clearly have a different relationship with like social events, it sounds like,
Yeah.
or it feels like.
Uh-huh. We haven't even gone that
So
deep.
as a couple for many years, like how do you navigate that? Like, because my father has like a killer personality, but doesn't really like people. Which is a tough, and I feel like you're kind of like that.
I do like people. though.
Where you do like people, but you're like limited to who you like and who you want it. You're very specific, and I think that's
yeah,
great
no.
because it's like, but you have a killer personality, so people
That's nice.
assume
Killer.
that you love, like that you're like,
I am.
You make an impression, Brown.
But that's so sweet.
and people are like, oh, I want Brown. Can
That's so
can
nice.
Brown
I
come?
don't
Can
know
Brown
about
What are you
come?
up to, Brown? Can
That's
we hang
exactly
out?
right.
Yes.
Everybody,
Yes.
everybody
And
loves
Brown's
her.
not
And-
there
That's
because
not
she doesn't
true.
want to like
Yeah.
waste her energy on people.
When
she
she
doesn't like.
meets people, she gives this full attention
Yes.
energy. She's joyous and fun. And then people call her the next day.
Yeah.
When do you want to have lunch?
Yeah.
It's like, what I'm saying is people who meet you assume that they've started this great
Yes.
friendship with you that you don't necessarily assume because you're like this way with, you're very effervescent with a lot of people.
But it's not. But that's who I am, and it's not fake, and it's not.
No,
that I
it's
don't,
not fake.
But it's not that I don't
Did
want to
I
be
say
their
it was
friend.
fake?
No.
What part was wrong then?
Okay, it's not wrong, but what? Okay, let me just. Okay, I do like people, unlike
Yeah.
your father. Okay, I do. I really do, and I like to go to things that I like to go to. I know myself, and I like to protect him. If he wants me to go
Totally.
someplace, and I know, I'm like, Jay, I know you really want me to go, but trust me, it's not going to be fun because I really don't. When I do choose to go out, I really have fun because I
Totally.
really want to be there. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I go to things because I know I should or because it's important to him. And then I'm like, you know what? Well, this was fun.
And I take like my dad does like very specific things, and he has like a lot of hobbies, so he'll love to go to like a woodworking conference because he loves woodworking and he loves woodworkers. So that would make him so happy. He like likes to be around those people, but it's very calculated and specific because he doesn't want to waste his energy. He like knows what he likes, and but he's so great that my dad will go to weddings, and my mother, who's extremely social, will get calls the next day. When are we hanging out with your husband? I had the best time at the wedding. And my mom goes, you're never going to see him again.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Dave has a great personality, but he doesn't want to hang out again.
But I do like to hang out. You're looking at me.
I don't think you like to hang out as much as people think you like to hang out. In other words, people you project, like you said earlier, you project a very outward personality when in fact you are a more inward person sometimes.
True.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
that doesn't mean I don't want to hang out with people. It's just it's hard. It's hard for me to. I don't know what I'm saying. It's
I know
just hard.
exactly.
I get what
can
you're
I, Can I
saying,
say what
Brown.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you. That you don't always want to go out, even though you have the personality that seems like you'd be somebody who wants to go out. And
Totally.
so often I'll go to places without you, and people say, "Where's Brown?" Because they didn't want me in the first place. They wanted you
That's
anyway.
true. That's not true.
It is true.
My mom
is
gets that a lot. My mom gets,
100%
where's
true.
Dave? And she's like, what the fuck?
Am I not enough?
Yeah, am I not enough? Do
Yeah.
you need my husband, who,
I'll
by the way,
dance for
is
you.
lame, and you think he has this great personality that he
Right.
doesn't? It's very funny. Like, that's my mom's bit. She's like, what the hell? Am I not enough?
Well, that's how I feel about you, though. I feel like my friends like you more than they like me sometimes.
Name a friend. Name a single friend who
Name
likes
'em.
me. Name one. Name one person. I mean, hint at one, so I can just, if you don't want to name the name.
All of them. It's not that they like you more, but like if we're going someplace to dinner if I didn't show up.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't show up, it would be a bummer. It would.
That's
any
nice.
of my friends, any of my friends, Jay. Who doesn't want to be around Jay Kogen?
I agree,
used to
Jay.
think-
Actually, you're not giving yourself enough credit.
100%.
From the minute I met you, and Kyle can speak to his experience, but I've felt so comfortable around you, love having you around, actively try to hang out with you, and never feel like you're awkward.
Well, Kyle and I have this sort of romantic thing that sort of gets in the way.
That's true.
That's like,
you want to do this right here?
so I got the tension. I cut it with a knife. But no, I'm not saying I'm a slouch. Like, you guys are social people. You have this whole show about you don't want to show up to people. You're both very social people. You're adorable in person.
Well, we've built in this sort of thing where we can socialize within the it's a constructed thing where we can then turn our personalities on and then hide inside for maybe 3 weeks at a time.
This is the perfect podcast.
Yeah.
And then we can
You heard
edit
it, guys.
and make ourselves
Brown just said-
This is the perfect podcast. If you're not watching it, you're stupid.
Right. But here's my question to you guys then.
That's going to be a clip.
You're both writer-performers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've decided somewhere in your life, I'm going to get in front of people, and spotlight's going to be on me, and I'm going to do stuff, and and that takes an enormous amount of courage that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
And that takes a certain kind of personality and a fortitude that people don't have. And it's also like, I got something sometimes fun to say, and so you have that built in. You have this thing built in where you can show up, and if you have to get now, this is not just for parties. This is writers' rooms and business meetings and pitches, all kinds of stuff where there's a lot of pressure. So I don't know. That whole staying home thing seems like maybe that's part of just resting between
100%. Well, we have a lot of comedians on the pod.
You're not quirky, you just sleep. You just like to sleep.
Right.
We have a lot of comedians come here, and they're like, I am, after the end of a stand-up show or the end of a sketch show, or drag queens come on and they say at the end of a performance, I am so depleted from giving all of my energy to the audience that I have to go home and hibernate for a week.
Yeah, but okay, that's
and
fine.
that's part of the creative process.
Right.
Like, that is how it is.
But that's not introversion, and that's not social anxiety. That's sort of just
the process.
rest. That process,
That's like biology. That's just sort of what happens to your body after you have like a
And by the way,
spike
if that's Drag Queens has another show in 5 hours, they'll do it. Yeah. They'll get the energy up to do it. And I mean, I don't have drag queen shows myself.
Yeah.
But I imagine
How
that
much
all the
energy.
performance energy happens when you're in a writer's room, and the writer.
Yeah. Well, both of you are writers and performers
at 3 a.m. It stopped, and you got to do it again at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I think I just had an epiphany kind of. Okay, so when I do go to a wedding or, an event, a charity thing or whatever, it's not the event that I have fun at. It's like who I'm sitting with at the table. It's my okay, let me go backwards. My ideal night would be having some friends over to my house.
Totally.
And very comfortable, have fried chicken and play some games or watch TV or just talk. Like, okay. And so I kind of recreate that when I go out, whether it's to,
I like that.
But I think that's kind of what I naturally do. It's probably naturally what you might do. Like, when I get back from a wedding, it's like, oh yeah, it may have been beautiful, but I don't think, oh, that wedding. It's always about the conversation at the table, or I don't know. I guess maybe it's not an epiphany.
I love the recreation of that, though. I've never heard that on the pod, that you try to mimic what's comfortable in your perfect scenario when you're in a situation that you can't control.
Very well articulated. Right. Which is probably why I seem so warm, because I feel like at home, what are you laughing at?
In your mind, you may be out, but in the world, your image of yourself is like, I'm in my pajamas already.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's kind of true.
I love that, though.
Okay. Well,
How often are there times where you don't really want to, but you're like, I'm going to follow through on this, and then are you like, oh, I'm glad that I went? Does that happen
most of
often?
the time? Most of the time, yes. Because when I have a low expectation, of course, the event is so much better.
She'll ask me, like, if I'm bringing up the thing, is it important to you that I come?
Well, that's what I do.
And that's code for I don't want to go.
Right.
But I think that's a sweet couple as
and
a partnership. Like, I think that's a wonderful question to ask your partner.
And what's my answer?
The truth. Either it is or it isn't.
Right. How often is it that
Not
you should
often.
come? Here's the thing. I don't want to put you out. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And
I wish you were more demanding sometimes and say, you know what, Brown? Get your ass up. We're going.
Why?
I don't know.
This is actually
Because I like it when you
therapy.
I like you when you have
podcast.
Yeah,
You
because
didn't know.
if I was like saying, "Hey Brown, you don't go anywhere. It's really upsetting to me. You
well,
got to
you
go."
do say that. You don't say it like that. You always say, Brown. Let's like
No, I've said let's go out. Let's do stuff.
every night. Okay, like we order in a lot. I cook, but we order. It's like I like to walk every day, and so if I don't walk in the morning, I walk in the afternoon. If I walk in the afternoon, that means I come back home, around dinner time kind of sweaty, which means if we go out, I have to shower, blah, blah, blah. So like a lot of the times I'll go on my walk and I'm feeling good. I'm like, you know what, maybe we should go out for dinner. And he's like, that'd be great. I'd love to go out. And then I come home and like, I don't want to go out. I do that all the time.
Brown, that is
All the
so
fucking
me.
time.
My friends if I have one glass of wine in me at brunch, I'm like, guys, tonight we're gonna go to this place. We're gonna do this, and I plan the best night of our lives. And then around like 3 p.m. hey guys, I'm so tired. There's no way I'm leaving the house after now. And my friends are like, Mary, you can't keep doing this to us.
I know, but don't you hate being that person?
Yeah, a little.
It's Lucy with the football.
It's
That's terrible.
People expect it of me now. It's a bummer.
I have a lot of friends that when I do go out, and they go like, "We never you like." They I have this reputation that like I don't come to things, but then
Where do you think that comes from?
Well, that's kind of I don't know. Honestly, no, because this is a group that I have. These are groups that I do have regular lunches with, but Brown, you showed up, and it's like
you should see the people that I don't hang out with.
But I have gotten better. I guess what I'm saying, I have made some progress, but people don't see my progress. They still think of me as the Brown, like, yay, Brown's, like, yeah, you showed up. It's like, what? I said I would.
Do you feel like you could show up every time for a full year, and then the first time you don't show up for something like, oh, there she goes again?
Brown, you and I suffer from the same thing. We both have incredible personalities, and then, but we also really don't like to always do stuff. So then when we don't show up, it's like it ruins the party or it ruins the brunch.
But here's the thing.
Then this is why we should entertain.
I want to bottle that feel. If I could look in the mirror and say that to myself every morning, if I don't show up, it's going to ruin everyone's day.
Wish you were here. I get a lot of those texts. I get a lot of
I wish that. Give me that.
I don't feel
But show up. For you to show up. For you to show up. Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
You got to show up.
I do show up.
But you got to. I don't give a shit.
Okay, what do you say? What do you say?
Your life, you only have one life, and you have to show up. You have to muster the energy. If you had a gig, you'd show up. If you had a performance, you'd show up.
Yeah.
So if somebody has a party that's important to them, show up. It's not only for them, it's for you. It's building that connection. It's building a life force. It's building a thing. Like, I should show up at the funeral, right?
Yeah.
Except the person I'd be showing up for wouldn't fucking know. So that's the one thing I allow myself.
Not about that.
It kind of is.
Okay, well.
But show up for a wedding. It's also that's the thing that I've learned over time. It's like it doesn't. You have anxiety. You don't know what's going to happen. It may be an awkward thing. If you just show up, all that goes away, and you're just there.
Yeah.
And your actual physical human force, your presence is just part of the mix, and that's enough. That's enough.
Oftentimes, I think when I cancel on things, I'm thinking that everyone is thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about me. And
amen.
And
That's
they're
a really good point.
Sister, they're not.
They're not. They're not. But what's the
I would
relief?
be sad if we had plans and you canceled on me.
Yeah.
I'd be sad if you canceled.
No, you wouldn't. I think I would say this: that not because you don't like them, but the relief of not having to go somewhere.
Yeah.
The plans are canceled. They have the same thing.
We do.
Like the plans are canceled. What a relief. We made it's almost the exchange of we were going to see each other, so we've made that connection, and now that we don't have to actually do the energy of going out, we get it's a win-win, right?
Yes, yeah,
It's like
that's true.
The gesture was made.
The gesture was made. We know we like each other, but now I can stay home and watch a movie.
Yeah, this morning, I had friends coming in from Texas. I really wanted to pick them up at the airport, and their plane is coming in now. I'm like, oh God, I can't. And I felt so, and I thought, oh, I could cancel. I could cancel.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't.
But also,
I wouldn't. I didn't.
Yeah. You didn't. You showed up.
I showed up for y'all.
Also, this
That means a lot.
No,
any excuse to not pick someone up from the airport is great.
But I enjoy that.
You enjoy
I love
it?
picking. Yes.
Wait, Brown, why?
Which airport?
LAX. I mean,
oh my God.
You're the first person on
I
our
like
pod
to drop
who has
people
said
off
that.
and pick them up.
You also like
I
that?
pick people
Yeah,
up at
it's
the airport
weird.
all the
Yeah.
time.
We like to do that.
It shows nothing shows more love than
Agreed.
picking somebody up from the airport.
Well, I don't know.
I love
I agree
showing
with
how
that.
brave I am by doing that. I
What do you
love
mean
I love the
brave?
feeling of going like, look at what I'm doing. I don't rub it in their faces, but
You're fighting
I like
so much
I like
traffic.
knowing that they know
Really?
that I've made a sacrifice for them. You know?
I don't know if I
So
like
you got
doing
one
it.
over them. Oh, I picked you up.
That's
from
just how I was raised,
I
baby.
picked you up for the fucking airport.
Our
You owe
podcast,
me.
Kyle said it was like driving in Twisted Metal, like through LA, or driving through like.
Oh, it's like Mad Max Fury Road.
Mad-
Yeah.
It's like
You're trying to get to the airport, like.
it's a whole thing, but like, oh yeah, because I was raised by a human scoreboard.
Right,
It was
sure.
always just,
All right.
don't forget I brought you into this world. I
So,
can take you out
all
of
right.
it.
What do I owe you,
You
Kyle?
have
What do I owe you?
Such an edge about him.
Yeah. No, he doesn't.
really
He doesn't.
do.
He seems like he's really nice, but
scared.
there's a cauldron. There's a boiling cauldron
I'm
underneath.
kind of scared.
I'm not. I just and that's why I stay home because I don't want to frighten people.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't want to be frightened.
But let's talk about this.
Interesting.
We go. Brown has family in Texas,
No.
and when they come out over here, I always pick them up from the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Always, because I don't want them to have to deal with anything. I want them. You know,
Fair.
I've done okay.
Yeah.
She's done okay. We could afford to get a car
Yeah.
to pick somebody from the airport.
Absolutely.
We don't. We do.
have a couple.
We're gonna pick them up from the airport.
Usually.
95% of the
agree.
time we're
I
there.
agree with
Yeah.
you. Hey, I agree with
When
you.
we go to Houston, since her father died, no one comes to pick us up
It's
from the
true.
airport.
That's
it's
true. And it's a
like-
bummer because it's...
and I'm keeping
That
score
is.
in my head, but this is so I'm like you in that way. However, it's a game no one else is playing.
I know
Yeah,
why.
of course. Yeah, I don't think anyone else is doing
I know
that.
why they don't,
Right.
and we've talked. And it's far to the airport in Houston,
Yeah.
but it's
It
like,
wouldn't be far to him though.
but-
to your dad,
Oh
it
yeah, my
wouldn't be
mom
far
and
to
dad.
him.
I've been
It
here
wouldn't be
35
far-
years.
Yeah,
for
they
the
always
first-
did it.
But they
my
wouldn't
mom
have
and
made the
dad,
distance.
it was awesome. They always
Yeah.
greeted me at the
Yes.
airport.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful. And
It's
then,
tough when people who are like kind of the glue, like
my
or
s-
sort of set the standard for everyone else around when they
Yeah.
when they
but
go.
my
everyone's
sisters
like,
don't, and they're
Yeah.
kids. It's actually easier to get picked up by a stranger in a way. Sometimes when you get off the plane, you just really don't want to have to go right
Totally.
into that. Oh my God, it's so good to see.
That's
you.
how I'm at bars.
So I don't-
easier to get picked up by.
So I don't mind, but every now and
That
then it
was
would be
good,
nice
Jay.
to be picked up.
I like.
Yeah,
It really would be.
yeah.
It's the gesture.
Yeah,
Um,
gestures.
All right,
Gestures
we have
mean
a fun part of the pod.
All right.
It's
where
all
we
been
ask
fun.
our
We'll be
guests.
judging whether it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a questionable part of the pod.
Okay, all right.
Where we
We
ask
prepare to dance.
where we ask our guests for their feedback about like a listener mail.
Okay,
Oh,
So they
great.
send in.
That's a good idea. I
Um,
should do that on my show.
Yeah,
Okay, let me see which one I
Oh, I
want
do
to
that
do.
on my show.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have that convoluted email address.
Exactly. dbawjk
Hold on,
at
blah, blah,
gmail.com. dbawjk at
It's
gmail.com.
so stupid. Oh my God,
spit out her coffee.
I almost did. You're so right. It's stupid.
What's so convoluted about dbawjk?
I hate it, and you sound stupid saying it.
Oh,
You do. It's like it's a joke.
Don't be
It
alone with
acts-
Jay
it sounds like a
Kogan.
joke.
Don't be alone
Jay,
with Jay
listen,
Kogan.
I don't hate it that much.
I do.
All right.
I do.
Brown does.
I really
It
do.
was worse when the email address was "Don't be alone with Jay Kogan." The whole
It
thing.
sounds like a place to
But the
send
way-
allegations
you know
to.
what?
That's what it sounds like.
Or it was-
Anonymous
it's like-
allegations.
yeah,
The
exactly.
way you say it is like it's easy, but it's so.
DBAWJK. What's wrong with that?
It's a crazy
And
acronym.
you know what? You want to hear from people who have
You and me.
the dexterity
I get you.
required to type that in.
Yeah, or just think
Those
about
are
the
the-
letters of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are too many sound bites already from this episode. We're gonna have a hard time picking out the promo.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So I had a friend whom I was friends with for over 20 years back out of going to my wedding the week before because they decided to go to Disney World instead. Although that wasn't the reason they gave me, believe it or not. They claimed they couldn't afford to come to my wedding, which, whatever. I offered to pay for them, but then they refused. It wasn't some extravagant destination wedding or anything. It was just a regular old wedding. And I still had a couple of hotel rooms blocked off that could have easily been booked, and I would have covered their travel. But when I found out they went to Disney World that weekend instead, suffices to say I was furious. They had confirmed that they were coming over 9 months in advance. So if there had been a schedule conflict, one would hope they would have said something, but nope. The kicker was I had other friends who had traveled from the same city who were in the exact same financial situation. And after that, our friendship was canceled.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I agree with her. That's unacceptable.
Going to
That is
Disney World, which is
unacceptable.
also one of the most expensive
Who
places.
cares?
Oh, God.
These people, who cares? I'm bored of this lady and her friendship.
you know,
Jay, what's your contrarian take
It's
on
not-
this?
Exactly.
What's going on?
No, let them. They want to go to Disneyland instead of my wedding.
It's
let
the lie.
I would
It's the
say-
lie.
I agree. The idea of like, okay,
A lot.
let them. When someone wants to be a dick and not be a good friend to you, let them, and then
It's
deal
not
with
even
it
being
But
a
the
dick.
lie is the
Same,
thing.
it's the lie.
It's the lie. So the person didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to Disneyland."
Sounds like they lied and said
Oh,
they were
yeah.
in a financial pickle,
If
couldn't
it's
go.
a lie-
I wonder if someone offered to pay for it. Like, do you want to go to Disney World for free?
Mm.
And
You
they
know
were
what?
like,
You got to have real conversations with people. Like
I
the
know.
thing is, oh, what a tangled web we weave.
But
You really should be honest with someone.
But
That's-
the
I
bottom
would-
line
I agree.
is, the bottom line is they don't want to really come to the wedding, or the choice between the wedding and Disney World. Disney World wins. Okay.
Yay, you wouldn't be upset.
No,
Then I think it's weird. I think you're weird.
I am weird.
Okay, well, I
I'll
don't
agree
like
with
that
you.
about you.
Right,
so like
it's like,
if a
like,
friend of
I
yours,
would
like
be
a friend
furious.
of 20
I'd be
years,
so
upset.
a really close friend of yours.
Yes.
The hurt.
20
Does
years of
anything hurt
friendship?
you? Does anything hurt you?
Yes,
What?
many
Knives.
things.
I know, but come on.
But no, that
A lie? Like-
that the lie I'm not crazy about, but the choice I'm not hurt by. In other words, and hopefully the friend would know that I'm the kind of person you wouldn't have to lie to because I wouldn't be offended. This woman seems like assuming it's a woman. That's very
Yeah.
sexist, but this person who's writing the letter to you is somebody who is clearly going to be offended by this, was offended by this, and so maybe the other people
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was okay to just say, listen, we have this other opportunity. We love you. We'll see you another time. Congratulations on your marriage, but we're going to do this
Unless
thing.
they went to Disneyland with their dying parent for them to see it the
I
last time.
agree.
Okay. But other than that, sorry. Bye-bye.
Well, also,
I'm a Scorpio. I
Jay,
can't-
you say, I would not, be upset, but would you judge them for that decision? Because I would. I'd be like, okay, fine, don't come to my wedding, but you're kind of a
not
motherfucker.
You're on my
What is
B-list.
it? Let's dig deeper. What does it mean to you that somebody comes to your wedding?
I think it can mean a lot of things for a lot of people because I personally love weddings because it's a great place to get drunk and
Right.
and dance.
and get laid.
Mhm.
Yeah, but don't say that.
Sometimes
No,
you get laid
yeah.
at weddings. Yes,
Right.
I agree.
I've never
It's
gotten-
a really fun social event for
Right.
me. But also, like, I go to my girlfriends' weddings because I love them and
Right.
like I want to see them marry the love of their lives, and I want to
You want to be part
celebrate
of that.
that
You want to
love.
celebrate
and show them how much I love them.
Okay, and so if somebody came to your wedding, you'd feel that they are there celebrating me, and they are sharing in this event with me. And if somebody didn't come, would that lessen your wedding?
It wouldn't lessen my wedding, but it would lessen my opinion of that person.
Yes. I mean, Jay, when you talk this way,
Yes.
it really bugs me. Okay, because because it makes me feel like if you're not hurt by something pretty simple, like a something, then what kind would do that to me then? Maybe not come to my next wedding. Yes,
Wait,
yes,
wait,
yeah,
but
I know.
I have a
No,
question.
But
So, like,
seriously, come
if-
on,
what-
man, come on,
what
man.
things do what would upset
Yeah,
you?
great.
It's not like weddings excluded.
Right.
What would if how would a friend what would be required for a friend to let you down to the scale of like how this person feels let down?
If somebody,
if possible.
Great.
it's not impossible. It's if somebody was betrayed me in some really significant way, that would hurt my feelings a lot, or lied in a really clear way. I would like to have a relationship where they wouldn't have to lie, where they could say, I had this thing and I can't show up to this other
So
thing.
it would
that's
piss you
important.
off if they said, "Hey, I can't come to your wedding. I'm in a really dark place financially,"
That
and
would-
then you saw on Instagram they were at Disney World all weekend,
Yeah,
spending
I mean,
hundreds and hundreds
I wouldn't
of
love
dollars.
it. I would
on
kind of ask
churros.
about it, and then we could work that out.
I would confront it.
Just because something's like important to, like, if something that is very important to you
Right.
isn't important to someone that's close to you,
Right.
that doesn't upset you.
No. What's important to me doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to anybody else but me.
Okay.
But it's like
Interesting.
it's all of us in this circle have our own flaws and problems, and everybody in our lives we know are pretty fucked up in many different ways. And so there's no choice but to go through life accepting people's flaws, forgiving people for their mistakes and misjudgments, and just living and let live. It's like there's no value in the other way, which is like, well, so and so didn't do such and such, and that's like what? Well, what do you get out of that?
You know, it's interesting because as much as I hate that quality about, like, it does when you pull back. He is kind of an unconditional person, and I do love that about him. Like, I could do anything.
You just
and
went
you would
from
still...
hot to cold. Like, I hate you. Who are
I
you?
love
You have
this
no
Brown.
heart. And like, you know what? You're not so bad.
That's my epiphany.
Okay. Well,
What I'm
thank
saying
you.
is the very thing
Yeah.
I hate about you makes me stay.
All right.
But that's what happens with people. Isn't it true that sometimes the
Yeah.
thing that pulls you in
100%.
It's like the core of what actually matters, which is that this person
Yeah.
will
But-
will not falter and unconditionally
But
be
I-
there for you for things that matter.
right,
It
but
counts.
I do think that you give that unconditionality to
Yes.
too many people. It's almost not special. I mean, I do hate him because I hate him again. Because
Right.
you should have a fucking boundary sometime. Come on, man.
What? So I should have a hate boundary?
Not a hate. Did I say the word hate?
Well, you should say,
Protecting your energy, maybe, I
Oh
guess.
God.
I give strangers the benefit of the doubt. Like it's
That's
like
true.
it's
Hope you
it's
do.
okay. That's the world. That's world we live in, and we personally are gonna be given all kinds of disappointments all the time.
Yeah.
We're in a business that's just full of disappointments. Like if we don't
Extremely.
if you don't get used to like getting kicked to the curb on a daily basis,
Yeah.
then you're not in show business.
Yeah.
Like so, I don't know. I've been toughened by
Well, what's
life.
so ironic about what Jay is saying, and I think you kind of pointed it out, is like Jay's saying, "Oh, I don't care if people cancel or whatever," but then you're like, "But I'm not going to do that because I have a strong backbone with this, and I'm actually a unconditional person, and I will be there for you."
Yeah, I'll show
Yeah,
up,
who do you
except
think you
if you
are?
die. If you're in a
Yeah.
funeral,
But then if you died, then you're not gonna care because you're
right?
dead.
That's the
That's true.
point. That's it.
Good point.
God, there's so much here.
I know. There's so much more I want to unpack, but we're
This
out
could
of
go
time.
for hours.
We're out of
Yeah.
time. We
Well,
gotta
Thank you so
go.
much for
Part
coming.
two.
Yes, please.
This was fun.
Okay.
Thanks so much for doing it. I
You
really
guys were
appreciate it.
incredible. I wanted a couple on the pod, and I wanted friends on the pod, and you guys nailed it.
The
But you-
requisite amount of bickering, or should we bicker a
No,
little
I
bit
think
more?
it was perfect.
It was
Okay.
real well.
Wait, I would love to end this with I know you kind of did this a little bit, but I want to hear from each of you what you love most about the other person.
Oh.
And why
Aw.
and the reason why it's I assume it would be the reason why you havenn't canceled on each other.
That's
uh,
interesting.
In the marriage.
in your
You haven't
marriage. Oh,
canceled
that's
this
interesting.
marriage.
You go
Yeah.
first.
All right. So here's the thing about Brown. She has, well, it's a couple things. She has the biggest heart in the world, and people recognize it when
Yeah.
they're with her, and therefore they think they want more of that. And that's the thing that you said earlier.
100%.
Well, we want to hang out with Brown. Fantastic. And she doesn't have the energy to hug the entire world all the time, but
Totally.
she does have the energy to hug her family like that. And I'm
Absolutely.
very lucky to be in that presence of that
Yeah.
of that joy and that life, and sometimes that anger, but it's this
It's
emotion.
the passion of it all.
It's the passion of it. It's fantastic. Also, and this can't be dismissed, if there's something that has to happen that she wants to have happen,
It'll
she'll make it
happen.
happen.
I love
There's
that.
nothing that can stop her when she decides to do something. And I've seen a lot of driven people. I've never seen anybody sort of make the world the way she wants the world to be made in her way. And I'm very impressed by that.
I love
So
that.
sweet.
No, that's
Okay, that changes me. What I like about you. He shows up. You know,
Yeah.
I can count on you
Yep.
more than anyone. Like, if I need anything at any time.
too much.
When we were dating, I knew that he had this quality. You know, when you're dating someone and you call too much and they're like, you can tell it's like
Yeah.
it's ass. There was nothing I could do wrong. We were dating. I couldn't call him too much. He was always so happy to hear from me, no matter what. Like, and you
Jay.
still are. Well, mostly, but
It's
yeah.
true.
But it's true. And so I feel like that is why you are the greatest husband, because you're just, you really do. You always show up for me. Always.
That and the size of my dick, which we started with earlier. Right?
That's right.
That perfect.
But
No, Kyle and I
but-
feel that same thing about you, Jay. Like,
Yeah, we both
you
think the
are
size of your
our,
dick
we
is-
call you like our ride or die with like our project we're
Aw.
working on. It's like you show up,
Always.
you answer the texts, you answer the phone calls. Yeah, you're there. You're there.
Yeah.
Also, back to you'd mentioned sort of like feeling a sense of like relief or something if you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I don't know. We do feel a sense of relief because you are a kind, normal person, and it's nice when
To talk to you and
when
That's
there's
really
like if you know like you're sitting in a meeting with people that you've never met before, people you don't know well, and there's like a million things going on. It's just nice to be like, okay, well, Jay's gonna be there, and Jay's a kind normal person.
Literally, we
And
say
that
we're
feeling,
like,
okay.
Jay's gonna be there.
Things go better with Jay. He's
Agreed.
like Coca-Cola.
else?
Seriously. It's
Yes.
true. He's like the real thing.
I think of things sometimes when we're in meetings and, it's not that you're new to the business, but you were newer than thing. And I thought, oh, they're not going to like what happened to this
Yes.
meeting. And so call back and say, they've not experienced what this just was. So we'll have to
Always.
download on this thing. And I actually think that's kind of fun to say, just like, don't worry
you're
about
our mentor. Like,
don't worry about
truly.
that insanity. Just put that aside.
Thank
There's
you.
this. Yeah.
It means the world to us. Like,
Sure.
seriously.
Well, I appreciate that. And I
Well,
appreciate
he's
you giving me
9, so.
appreciate you giving me a chance to plug my show, Don't Be Alone with Jay Kogen.
Oh, yeah, tell us.
Which is-
WBAPLS.
Which is, if you want to write me about it, it's at dbawjk@gmail.com.
There we go.
Where I have a podcast, you've been on it,
Yep.
where I discuss my own problems. I have
And he's
great
got a
people
lot.
talking about and helping me through my problems.
It's an incredible pod. I really,
Yes.
really love your podcast.
It's going through the roof.
Yeah.
Through the roof.
It is.
Listen
doing
to
well.
it before you can't.
Exactly. We're having a limit. We're putting a limit of 1 million listeners.
Yes.
And after that, no more.
No more.
Great.
Oh,
All right,
thank
thanks
you
for having us.
guys.
Thank you
Okay.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.